see there, he appeared to emerge from the home, running out of the home. And then the suspect followed behind with his hands up. So he came out of the building with his hands up right away. He walked through the back patio portion there with his hands up, and then eventually laid down on the ground. Now, I'm not clear on how close the nearest officers are here, but they know that he is there. The air units are overhead. 2 of the LAPD helicopters, in fact, keeping eyes on this guy. But we are monitoring as the SWAT team now prepares to come to the back to take this guy into custody. They're going to ask him to extend his hands again, because right now his hands appear to be a little bit too close to his chest there. But the guy did come out with his hands up, clearly surrendering to officers there. And again, the key here is he came to the back, but there were no officers there to take him into custody. Right now, it appears that he has his hands
behind his head,
his fingers interlaced behind his head there. So he is on the ground there. And here we go. Here's our first sighting of the SWAT team as they come out. And this suspect is finally in custody after this whole incident began around 10:15 or 10:30 this morning. You watched as that pursuit unfolded live on NBC this morning. And now this is finally coming to an end here, 3:05 in the afternoon, after, well, just about 5 hours of this all taking place here. Right now, we don't believe anyone else is in the home. And, wow, are we relieved to finally report that this has come to an end here, apparently with no injuries here in the Valley Glen area. Back to you guys in the studio.
Alex, do you see the weapon there on the ground?
I do not see the weapon. When he came out, he did not have the weapon with him. I'm not sure if that's in the backyard there or not, but when he came out, he did not have anything in his hands there. So there you go.
He's going to do time though, no?
He's a 3-striker.
Oh, he's doing life? Should have just fucking went crazy.
All the details behind
suicidal
the threats that this person made, where they made within the
shootout
there or something else. We'll be waiting for official word from LAPD, but boy, this is certainly going down better than anyone had expected here. And again, right now, the suspect in custody here in Valley Glen. Certainly good news here.
Alex, describe what happened, because you've been over the scene.
Sigh of relief for this North Hollywood.
On 2.
Right here is on the east-facing side towards the south end of the building there. You can see more officers coming in, guns drawn, just to clear the building here. But that's the window where they ended up putting in the tear gas. That is what instigated this, and that all took place right at 3 o'clock. Now, that is when the man emerged about a minute later from the back. So clearly that tear gas did its job here. They did put out 2 rounds of bullhorn calls, loudspeaker calls to the suspect before they fired that tear gas into the home there. So he certainly knew that it was going to be happening, so he had plenty of time to prepare in there. But he elected not to actually
took a nap. He was
eating. Went in. Right now, again, they're going into clear. You can see that the SWAT team members have their gas masks on. There is still gas inside the home there, so that is why they're going to have their.
5 hours later, as you saw, and as Tim Lynn mentioned, this is textbook work of the LAPD and SWAT being able to go in, not only able to capture him where no one was injured, including
right there looks like it's small where they got. Maybe that's where he wasn't looking out the window.
On lockdown at one point with students and faculty inside, some at camp, and those evacuations were done beautifully as well. Super safe and
where'd he go? Where'd he get?
All the students
man, he should have went for a swim.
Park and reunited with their parents.
Yeah, but the swimming pool is not there.
It's next door.
Begins the process of who this guy is,
over there.
what he did, whose house this is. Imagine the homeowners of this house.
Damn, I hope he didn't ransack it.
If he knew the people that lived in this home, he is, or the car that he was driving was registered to a home in Pacoima, where he did go in that neighborhood and ride around. But he ended up here in this home.
over there by North Hollywood?
A home of friends,
I thought
a family
was
member,
over there
someone
by
he knows, or it may have just been simply a stranger's home where he found himself.
No, Pacoima's the valley.
Was home. He was in there by himself. We did see, you see the house with the swimming pool. I believe that's the house where we saw somebody next door in a red shirt earlier when this barricade situation first began, after he jumped off the roof and went inside the house. But what happened, it's interesting that Commander Andy Smith came out and said a lot of flurry of activity, and then time is on our side, so this will be a long situation. But it was probably within 10 minutes after that news conference that they fired some gas grenades inside of the house. He came out the sliding glass door into the backyard without his weapon. lay flat down on his stomach, face down on the grass. And at that point, canines were surrounding him. Officers had their weapons trained on him
right there where the grass
of the
is?
house. And then they ran over and arrested him, and they've taken him back inside the house and start the process of looking at the crime scene. And now that we can show you this video, this is the SWAT operation, which we could not show you
on the left-hand side of your screen.
As it was going on. You see there, they're now shooting those gas grenades inside of the windows of the house, and that's what flushed him out. And we'll watch here. You see the sliding glass door. You see him coming out now. Hands up in the air.
The dog.
Canines were in the house.
Yeah. So again, something that the SWAT teams.
The dog was just chilling, like whatever.
Day out, they were able to systematically and slowly control this situation, and even
he could have just stood out there and got an air. Went back in.
Yeah.
And they start making
mistakes.
But then
they're on the roof,
so they would have thought, okay, my adrenaline.
Well, he should have just went on a shootout there.
Here. And as that gas comes inside,
the dog just chilling.
Look at the dog has his tail in.
And you can see the canine controlling the suspect there. This is video of the takedown as SWAT came in and directing him clearly to go out into the yard.
Look at they're walking
into the
him.
yard with hands up, and he eventually lies down in the backyard or the yard of that home, and the canines covering him. This is a re-loop of it, of them going into the home.
Yeah, again, you see right here, they fire those gas grenades inside the windows, and that's what flushed him out. You know, he came out the sliding glass door, he didn't quite know what to do, and we can't hear the audio, but I can tell you as you see him come out here, he doesn't know quite what to do, but I'm sure that somebody's yelling at him to you know, keep his hands up in the air. Eventually he walks a few feet, interlocks his fingers behind his head, and it's what's interesting is see that I wonder how the canine got into the house. Probably they shot the grenade, and maybe somehow they got through the front door.
Yeah, possibly. And you know, you can see him there leaning over a little bit too, coughing. So that gas, when it goes in there, I'm sure it's hot and he can't breathe and he's out of breath because he's nervous. But he knows hands up.
The dog was a cop dog?
It had to be scary coming out of that
He's
sliding
rubbing his eyes there.
Yeah,
and the canine comes up to him. He puts his interlocks his fingers behind his head. And right at this point, officers are ordering him to come out to the yard, out in the open. Of course, we're not going to be able to see him that well because of the tree, but the officers can see him just fine. And that is where he lay down on his stomach, face down on the grass. And officers moved in after a couple of minutes and then made the arrest.
Escape the tear gas.
And dog sitting down with them.
Questions right now that we need to get answers to. We have a team of reporters.
I advise you not to move.
And they're there on the ground right now trying to figure out.
Doesn't know what to do because the cops aren't there. He's like, what do I do? He's right here. No one's telling me nothing.
Where are you guys?
Very quickly, the
When we
suspect
need
you see
you.
on the ground has been apprehended here by LAPD SWAT. This started
He's licking
a
it.
high-speed
Huh?
chase.
I don't know.
Actually started as officers were trying to serve some sort of warrant.
We got you, buddy.
We're looking at he's in the red Nissan.
And he hit a van. He hit a
chases down
burgundy
several
van.
Freeways and surface streets. Initially,
And then they just
110,
stopped. They didn't
He
go
turned
anywhere.
around at just before he hit South Pasadena and Highland Park, then up the 5, eventually ended up off the 170 in Magnolia. And
When he hit the
at
van,
a
he was
house
like in one of those streets like
located
that.
on Holford. Was that the street, Holford? In any case, that area around Valley Glen and Valley Village was cordoned off. The Magnolia exit off the 170 shut down. There you see it ended within the past 6 or 7 minutes. LAPD SWAT fired a gas.
So he probably thought of killing his
The
girl.
suspect came out and has since surrendered.
Yeah,
Schools
he
were
probably
locked
did
down.
tell. I'm gonna kill you,
we
bitch.
Had so many people affected by this, but as Alex Calder just mentioned, it could not have ended any better for the LAPD as the SWAT team went in there. And you see right now, as this man goes there on the ground in the side alley of this yard, and you see the 2 dogs there with him, and this man now in custody. Lolita Lopez, let's bring you in. What do you know from
Well, we had just gotten that update before we had seen that the suspect was taken into custody. We had just gotten an update, as you can, we were live here about 10 minutes before that was happening. And we actually had asked Commander Smith about any robotics that were used. You see, our crews on the other side of where we are had actually seen a robotic.
Yeah, you were right. They should have just done the robot thing.
Squad vehicle, and so we knew that something was about to happen. But of course, none of that could be divulged because it is part of the tactical unit. So then 10 10-15 minutes after the briefing that we got here, the suspect is taken into custody. I just want to show you what's happening under the tunnel here, where they have been holding a command post at LAPD. That group that you see there together are the officers that have been giving us continual updates all day long on this situation. Together now they are getting more information as to what's happening in the field, how the suspect was taken into custody.
There's no way he was going to run away.
Surrounded that and what they can tell us. So as they're getting their information, they'll come over and brief up.
They have fire trucks right there waiting to, in case he did a fire or something.
As you guys saw and you showed on air, the suspect did come out of that particular house. The dogs around there, not police dogs, just up.
Not police dogs.
Oh.
Into the home, just a little.
Wow, but they stood right there, huh?
One of the windows, it seemed that was
probably said, "Don't even move."
Get this suspect out, but
and those cops probably said, "Okay, okay, come here, pooch."
Once the suspect was in that home, no shots had been fired from that area. Seems to be a peaceful resolution at this point. Now the evacuations are still in effect.